E.H. Howard here. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to A Few Moments with E.H. Howard. Yet another thing with my name slapped on it. And I laugh at my own jokes. So, all right, today we're going to be all this month on Patreon. We have been talking about networking, networking groups, networking events, other things that deal with networking, how sell the experience and networking work together, all of those things. And one of the things that comes up whenever I talk about networking is, and it's a deep passion of mine, is this idea that you're there to train your chapter, your group, your networking group. It's not their job to learn from you. It's your job to educate and train them. All right. And this comes up a lot. And the reason it comes up a lot is because people will join a networking group, and it is not like a cheap endeavor. It is not. There's a lot of costs associated with it, all right? And so they think that, well, if I join a networking group, if I start getting out there and networking with my local businesses, then within a couple of weeks, the wellspring will open and water will come rushing in, and I will be drowning in customers and consumers like never before. And the money that I outlay as part of the group is going to come back to me tenfold. And yeah, that might be the case. That might be the idea. And that could possibly happen. It typically doesn't, because people don't put in the work. All right. One of the things that I'm always huge about, and when I was president of the chapter, this kind of, I'm sure I drove people crazy when I was president of a couple of chapters. And I would be like, you just can't come in every week. I mean, I didn't say it that way. I'm not an asshole, you know. I mean, I'm a little nice old man. And I would say, hey, every week you come in and you keep telling us that, the same thing. How about you freshen it up a little bit? Update some things. Keep us guessing, because that is the number one problem that happens in networking is people either shorthand it, or they just figure, well, I'm spending my money, I should get something in return. To me, I think people look at the investment in money in a networking group as if, well, I would put this, and then let's just call it a round ballpark figure. Let's say like $1,200 a year. Okay, so that's on the medium to high end, but let's just give it a figure, $1,200 a year. If I'm spending this $1,200 a year, then that's $1,200 I'm not spending on putting an ad in a magazine, or I'm putting out a postcard, or I'm running a banner ad or something like that. And so they think in that mindset of, well, I've outlaid $1,200, I expect $1,500 to come back to me, and I expect to see some sort of product that will move that process along, an ad or something like that. That's not how networking works. That's not how you should think about it. And again, if you don't agree with me, that's great. Tell me in the comments below. I would love to hear some alternative ideas and things. My feeling on networking is, or networking groups, I should say, is I looked at it as, and we'll talk about this as how it applies to other views that I have as far as networking. That is money that I would have taken to pay a staff member to market for me, to sell for me. Okay, I look at it in that big picture kind of terms. If I was a larger business and I was taking that $1,200, I would be putting that towards a salary, say, for somebody. And I'm not advocating paying somebody $1,200 a year, not in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, like, I see it as putting it towards human resources as opposed to product resources. Ergo, I wouldn't just hire a salesperson. I wouldn't just hire a marketing person. I wouldn't just hire any staff member without training them, about giving them insight into my company, giving them insight into my business, teaching them all that they need to know so that if questions or problems arise, they know how to answer them for me. That in essence, they are my proxy, okay? So that if I send a salesperson out to go visit a consumer, they are in essence me, all right? Because I have hired them, I've empowered them, I have sent them off to speak for me. Why would I not do that with my networking group? All right. If they are supposed to work as my unpaid sales force, and I would expect this from the members of the group as well. So it's not me coming in and this is how I expect everybody in the networking group to work. It's my way or no way. It's probably why I'm not in a networking group at the moment. No, it was the pandemic actually. What was I saying? See, I'm rambling again like an old man. I would expect everybody in the group to train me about their business and teach me things. So I look at the 30-second commercial as a moment to give them a quick update on what's going on in the business. Okay, this week we rolled out a new product. It's called yada, 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 and it's the best thing to come down the pike. Here's why people need it. This is who's perfect for it. Give them my number. Here's my card, whatever. Next week it might be, we just got a new client on board. We got this guy. And again, it's the idea is to train them so that they have the tools to go out and refer me to their friends, their family, their fellow consumers. If I haven't trained them, if I haven't given them the tools to do that, I can't be mad when I get bad referrals, or when I get referrals that make no sense, or when my business isn't getting any referrals. Okay, that's how I see networking, and that is where I come from. Okay, now in the past I have worked with quite a number of networking groups, and I've seen everything from, pardon me, the Rambler, not always me, but the Rambler, and the 3-word sentence kind of guy. Okay, and let's talk about the Rambler is the person, and I was always prepared. I would write them out. I would practice my 30-second commercials. I tried to change them up as much as possible. But there's two, like the Rambler. So you would get the Rambler who would get up and they'd be like, well, last week this person came into my business and we started talking. And in the talking, we discovered, and just, it reminds me of, what's his name from Best in Show with the nuts, this pan, the stories just go on and on and on. And they were always having to be stopped because they went over time, and you never got to what was important in the story because they were so busy weaving the tale that they were weaving. And then you get the other guys, not just guys, I'm not saying guys, you get the other type of 30-second commercial, the business that stands up and is like, hi, I'm your chapter dry cleaner. If you need things clean, call me. Bye. Barely 10 seconds of time, okay? And one of the great things about joining a networking group is that 30-second to 1-minute commercial. And depending on the size of your chapter, if you can get a chapter that you got a 1-minute commercial, that is 1 minute of time that you should have every member of the chapter's attention on you. Okay, that is the time that they should be looking at you and only you, and you should be able to kind of really focus in on them and get them to start thinking about you and your business. Long rambling stories that have no point, and getting up and just saying, hi, I'm the plumber, call me, doesn't move your business forward. All right. You need to tell people who you want to work with, why you want to work with them. You need to educate your chapter. And there are always the people, whenever people would join a chapter and then they would leave 3 months, 6 months after, if I would say, didn't stay longer than 6 months, because sometimes they don't. The number one thing when I would reach out to them and ask them, like, hey, what's going on? I'm not sure what's happening. I thought you were, Well, I wasn't getting the sales that I thought I was. I wasn't getting the referrals that I thought I was supposed to be getting. Okay, well, what did you think you were getting? And I remember talking to one person one time, and there was, and the way chapter networking groups work is your chapter has specific silos. So even in certain areas, like financial planning, there's a lot of subcategories. So if your category is filled, you can't talk about that business. That's that other business's job to talk about it. Okay. So let me put in a more concrete and easier to understand example. When I was doing graphic design, I used to offer printing. If I went to a group or a chapter that had a printer in it, I couldn't talk about printing because I was taking business away from the printer. All right. So when you join a group, you're paying for exclusivity. That was that. I wanted to do this, but that category was filled, so I joined on this because I thought I could talk about that. That was one of the big ones. I'm not working with the people that I want to work with. I'm getting bad referrals. And it was always the people that were like, hi, I sell jewelry, call me. That weren't getting the referrals that they wanted, all right? Because they weren't educating the members. The members were left like, well, there's a plumber in our group. Do you want me to give you his name? I don't know if he's any good. I don't really know much about him. All right. That's what you're leaving the chapter members to refer you by, as opposed to saying, hey, we've got this guy who's a plumber. He has this really great new technology. It can go through your pipes. It can do this, et cetera, et cetera. Like, they know a lot about your business because you have trained them to talk about it. So when the consumer starts to ask questions, do they do this? Instead of going, I don't know. You can say to them, no, you know what? He doesn't. He talked about that in a presentation that he did a couple of weeks ago, and this is why he doesn't do it. That's one side of it. The other side of it is, you can't educate your chapter, you can't educate your partners, your team, if you're never there. All right. So if you miss a lot of times, like there was times where some of the members would disappear for 3-4 weeks at a time. That's a lot of rebuilding you have to do before they're going to remember it. A lot of things that they need to process again, like, oh yeah, right. Or in your absence, because they were looking for somebody and they hadn't seen you in a couple of weeks, they referred it to another person that they knew that did the same thing. Okay, probably not in your chapter. So you lost the referral. You lost it. You need to be educated. You need to be serious. And so the level of professionalism, I should say. Professionality, what the hell's that? Professionalism, energy, gusto, zest, whatever you want to call it. Everything that you do in your chapter meeting reflects upon you as a business, all right? So if you're the schmo that comes in and sits around and jokes the entire time or talks while everybody's giving their 30-second commercial, that says a lot about your business. If you get up every week and you don't take your 30-second commercial seriously, that says a lot about your business. If you don't show up on time for the pre-networking event where you can kind of stand around and talk to people, again, that's not helping you grow your business. And your number one job in joining a networking group is to grow your business. And the challenge a lot of people are facing these days, or a lot of, I think what happens with the reality, I should say, is people start a business with an expectation that somehow, oh, I'm just going to start this, I'm going to open my doors, and boom, life is going to be on easy street, and I'm never going to have to work again. And if you're a small home or solopreneur business, if you're a freelancer, if you're a gig person, if you're any sort of person like me and my target audience, I work a hell of a lot more now than I ever did. I'm not complaining. I love it. I live for it. But that was what it was. That was the payoff. I get to be my own boss. I get to do things on my time. I get to do things on my schedule. But I have to answer the phones, I have to pay the bills, I have to do it all. And joining a networking group is the same way. It's not going to solve any of your problems. You are going to have to do all of the heavy lifting. You need to give in order to get. You can't just take. And by not showing up and not doing the heavy lifting and not educating your chapter, you are not doing the work that's needed. You're not doing the heavy lifting. And that's not good. That's not good for anybody. It's not good for you. It's not good for the chapter. It's not good for anybody. All right. And so that's kind of my 2 cents on why networking really, if networking doesn't work for you, or networking, you've had a problem in the past with networking, it's probably because of these things. So all you need to do is learn how to use the time that you're given better. I mean, it used to just frustrate me that, in one chapter we were so small, we had like a minute and a half sometimes for commercials. And I would always tell people, plan for a minute and a half. It'll probably be a minute, but you could, if people don't show up, you can have a minute and a half. And they would either do it in the car on the way over, or they would like do it on the fly. And I'm not saying I haven't every once in a blue moon gotten up and given a 30-second speech on the fly. However, I have enough prepared in the back that I could just pull one out pretty easily, okay? Which is part of like the whole 30-second thing over at Patreon, where we develop those commercials. But you need to set the tone. You need to set the professionalism. You need to set what people think about your business by your actions and your behaviors. And in order to get what you want, you need to give. All right, you need to train them. And conversely, as I said before, if you feel like you're not getting these things from a business that you think you could refer quite easily, you need to ask them these things. Okay, so what if a customer says to me this? What if I want to really help you out? I want to sell this business. I believe in you 200%. All right, don't leave anything out. Talk to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Fill me in on your business, how you run your business. I don't care if you're a realtor. I don't care if you're an auto body shop. I don't care who you are. You run your business in a very specific way. Train me, teach me how to talk about it. And then I think once you do that, your referrals, not only will you get more quality referrals, not will you get even better referrals, you'll get a lot more referrals because people will understand how to talk about you. They will be able to better identify, oh, here's a consumer that could really benefit from Beth's bookkeeping services. Here's somebody who could really benefit from this. They have a better ear to the ground for you and are better able to look for those casual consumers and those super fans. All right, so that's enough on that, because again, I'm feeling like I'm rambling again, but that's my brand. I'm E.H. Howard, and this has been A Few Moments with E.H. Howard here on YouTube. We're exclusive here on YouTube. Follow me on social media. I'm E.H. Howard literally everywhere. While you're here, bop on over and view the Small Business Talk Show. We talk about issues that face all small home and solopreneur businesses. Also, while you're here, check out Consider This, where we talk about some of the moral and ethical issues that small and home businesses face. Bop on over to Facebook for the 2-minute challenge, where we do some creative, fun brainstorming activities. Also pop on over to Vimeo or for Patreon and join us there, because we are building a community of skill building and learning to help small home businesses learn to talk about their sales and marketing in more effective ways and feel more valued and appreciated. And that's kind of really the goal. All right, and I will see you in the next few minutes. All right, have a good day.